She says she'll give anything a go twice, just in case the first time doesn't work out so well. Right now, she may be ruined the day she took up camel racing, but even with a broken coccyx, will it hold her back? Beaver Brophy is a woman with a very impressive CV, the sort of CV you couldn't really, imagine. Fred Brophy, tent boxer, security guard to the rock stars, former Jillaroo, political candidate, bush cook, and currently PA to Pauline Hanson. Right now, though, she's in Boulia with a faithful camel, Barry. She's been doing the Outback Camel Racing Trail from Marree to Winton, picking up some wins along the way, but also, it would seem, a broken tailbone. And the Beaver's with us this afternoon on Drive. Beaver, what happened?
Oh, I guess, Adam, it's just what happens in racing. I lost the stirrup. And then there was a few people waving their hands out, and the camel looked like it wanted to run back down the racetrack. So I thought it was safer to jump off than go for a ride with no stirrups. So I bailed, and I'm just happy that that's all I came away with and wasn't more injured.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've had plenty of injuries in your time, tent box at Jillaroo, so you played women's rugby league as well, Beaver. But how does this rate in terms of the pain factor?
Oh, look, it's pretty sore, but with a positive attitude, you can do anything. And I think the excitement of being out in the bush and just the fresh, open air always makes me feel better. Like this morning, I was like, I should probably go into one of the cities and get a bit of treatment or something. But I went down, I caught the biggest yabbies I've ever seen, and then I was full of life again. So the bush really gives me a new lease on life. So I think I'm going to tough it out and see how we go on the weekend.
Well, you've got Barry, and you and the team that you ride for have been doing very well so far through the Outback Camel Racing circuit. Prior to the injury, how had you and Barry been performing?
Yeah, we've won all of our heats so far, and we've picked up a couple of places in the Cups. But my teammate, M, from Hump and Budgies on Polished Copper, is pretty unstoppable at the moment. He's won the last 3 Cups. So Marree, Junda and Baduri. But Barry's more of a long-distance camel, so that's why I want to make sure I'm good to go by the weekend, because Barry comes home strong. So I'm feeling confident for this weekend if I can get on the back of the camel.
Of all the things that you want to do with a broken tailbone, riding a camel, I imagine, would be right up there with things to avoid. So if you are to undertake it, Beaver, can you put any additional cushioning or anything there?
No, you can't. But the good thing is with camels is that they've got no bum really. So you're sitting kind of behind the hump, and all the work is done in your legs. So I did a bit of leg work before I came away, and there's actually no pressure on your tailbone. So it's not like a horse where you're sitting in a saddle. You've actually got this little pad, and for the duration of the ride, you're actually in a micro squat. So it's all on my quads and hammies. So, it'll just be the end of the race that will be sore. And the sitting in the car is probably the sorest part. But on the back of the camel, I'm feeling pretty confident.
They call it the Melbourne Cup of camel racing, the Bullia Cup. It's the longest camel race in Australia, which gives you some confidence if you can get on the back of Barry, because you say Barry likes to, he gets back a bit, but he likes to finish strongly, Beaver. Have you ever... What's been your best performance so far in the Bullia Cup? Because you have ridden in previous seasons.
Well, actually, last year out here I was handling and broke my finger. So my teammate Tegan rode him in the Cup, and he actually came 3rd in the Cup last year. So they only get better. So I've picked up, I think this is where I get hurt the most. But, I think last year he got a 3rd. So hopefully we can improve on that this year.
I mean, when I look through your CV and I see the things you've done in the past, playing for Australia in Women's Rugby League, being a tent boxer for Fred Brophy, those are jobs that I think maybe you would have sustained a lot more injuries. But it sounds like camel racing hasn't necessarily been kind to the body, and not even actually the races themselves, Beaver, just you being around the camels.
Yeah, well, the good thing is it wasn't the camel's fault. It was my choice to jump off, and I just landed bad. So it wasn't through the racing itself. But, yeah, it's probably the worst injury I've had in any of my sports. I've had a few little concussions through my football, and boxing I've been quite lucky. I've got quite a good guard, which is why I've won over 350 fights in the boxing tent. and only lost 2. But, yeah, no, I think it's, in hindsight, it's probably a dangerous sport, but I don't think I'd be doing it if it was safe.
What's the atmosphere been like in these towns? You mentioned Beaver there, Junda, Winton. You're headed to Boulia now. Oh, you're in Bullia now, sorry. These outback towns that get their time to shine during the camel races, what's the atmosphere like?
The atmosphere has been absolutely amazing. I don't know if you remember, but not so long ago, some of these places were inundated by water. Like Junda's racetrack was 1.8 metres underwater. They were racing boats up the straight. And that town, the sponsors there are amazing. And just to be able to bring things like the camel racing in the outback here, it really puts some spirit back into it, and the town really loves us coming through. Junda really looked after us there, so it's been absolutely amazing. The spirit's high, and it's something good to bring to the towns after what they've been through.
You mentioned you caught some monster yabbies this morning. You're actually a pretty accomplished bush cook, and I hear that there's plans even maybe for a cookbook later in the year, Beaver Brophy.
Yes, there is the book's in the pipeline. I've just got to get a few more videos together, and I did catch some monsters this morning. So if you do jump on Beaver Brophy's Facebook page, you'll see some of the yabbies I caught. These are, they look like lobsters. They are that big. But, yeah, no, the cookbook's in the process, but it's going to be a cookbook with a bit of a difference, and I'm going to have a story behind everything, like my Indian curries, my time in India. I drove from one side to the other. So
That's right. You rode a tuk-tuk across India, didn't you?
I did. And at the end of the year, I'm actually going to Morocco, and I'm riding a monkey bike, a 50cc monkey bike across the desert. So, there's
Never a dull day in the existence of Beaver Brophy, I'm learning here. In the cookbook, what measurements are you going to use, metric or outback?
Oh, definitely outback styles. Most of them are between 2 to 4 beers, but my lamb shanks, it cooks over a bottle of wine. So by the time you finish the wine, the lamb shanks are ready to go. So no traditional cooking time for me. It's definitely bush style.
I like it. I mean, any project that you have to measure in how many beers or a glass of wine it takes it gives you a nice visual there for how long you're in for. But it's also about the journey, not the destination, with your cooking, Beaver Brophy. You mentioned you've had over 300 wins in the Fred Brophy boxing tent. It's going to be pretty emotional in Birdsville later this year. Will you be there for Fred's final visit?
There is no way that I cannot go to Birdsville. The Beaver was born in Birdsville. It was my first fights out there. I had my 250th win out there. It's a great place for me. Fred's been going there for many years, and I wouldn't miss it for anything. And trying to get the boss out there. She's been the card girl a couple of times. So hopefully, I think it will be a good year, and I don't think the races will be the same when he's not there. But, yeah, I definitely won't be missing it. And if anyone's thinking of going to the races, this is definitely the year to be going.
You talked about the boss. You are personal assistant to Pauline Hanson. Federal Parliament gets going soon. So will you be straight off the back of a camel into Canberra, do you think, Beaver?
Yep. Next week we go down. We've just got 2 new senators, Warwick Stacey in New South Wales and Tyrone in WA. So I'll be going down for their swearing in, and I'll be back for Winton the weekend after. So lucky these sort of things happen on the weekend, but during the week it's politics, and on the weekends I have a good boss that allows me to live a very adventurous life.
There's never a dull day in the existence of Beaver Brophy. She's currently nursing a broken tailbone, but you haven't heard one iota of complaint from her, and she's even hoping to be back on the back of Barry the Camel for the Bullia Cup. They call it the Melbourne Cup of Camel Racing this weekend. Beaver, thank you very much for joining us.
No problem. It's always a pleasure to have a chat to you, Adam, and I'll talk in a couple of months when I'm doing something else silly.
Can't wait till your cookbook comes out as well.